Hi, welcome to GRVO TV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. This is my initial review of the Hobbyking Mini DLG. This is the original version, but the reason I'm doing the review now, because obviously this is quite old now, is that it has been upgraded and there's not been an awful lot of mention about it, but the improvements to it I think are actually extremely good, well implemented, and I think this makes it an even better glider than the original. So if I just quickly go over the improvements first of all. The hatch and the whole front pod is now completely sort of plastic, whereas it was there was wood in here and there was wood in here before. So it's lighter. It's possibly cheaper to manufacture, I don't know, but this is the pod off the Pro version, which is aileron. So they've just sort of utilised it, and it works a treat. The second upgrade is the servos. They've used the same servo that they've got in the Pro version. And these are mini digitals, and they're much better than those. The original one had those little blue clear things in, which were not particularly good. These servos have got great resolution, good power, very fast, and I just think overall they're a much nicer quality servo than the original had. So that's the first two improvements. The next improvement is the trailing edge of the wing has got a carbon rod all the way along it, both sides now, and that was just balsa before, and I guess that was there may have been a problem with wing warping and things like that, so that's going to obviously stiffen up the whole wing, because it's nice and stiff on the front, but that I guess would have been a weak point. But the wing itself now is very stiff and appears to work really well, so I think that's a great upgrade as well. I think out of all of them, that is probably the best upgrade, so that's really good. I think originally these bolts were plastic, they're now metal, which is fine. They've got a little plastic washer and they pull in really nicely. It's easy to put together. You've got 2 screws to put the wing on and 1 screw to put the tail on. I've used a Futaba R607 receiver because it's all I had. I didn't have anything small. So it's a bit overkill receiver wise for this, and I've taken it out of its box, just wrapped it in paper, goes in there a treat, no problems at all, and I just leave everything flopping around in there. I've got a little bit of foam which goes in there when I put it all together, and nothing moves, it's all fine. Battery wise, you need to be careful. I'm going to use a 7.4 volt, a 2-cell LiPo with a UBEC. But I haven't got the UBEC yet. It hasn't arrived, and I don't know how big it's going to be. I've ordered obviously a small one, but I don't know if it's going to fit in. So the battery will be in the front, receiver there, and then the UBEC, there's space for it here, or in here. So that should work okay, but because I didn't have that, I used a single cell LiPo, which you have to be careful of, because if the receiver goes below 3.8 volts, it will dip into failsafe. Now there is a way out of that. You can switch the failsafe off, and it gives you about another 30 seconds to land, which would probably be okay. But obviously when these are charged, they're 4.2 volts, so you've got a little bit, you've got 0.4 volts to use, and I had about, I suppose, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of flying, and it was absolutely fine with that. But I wouldn't recommend that unless you put a voltage booster on it, which you can do as well. And that's another option for me in case this option doesn't work. Obviously this is a lighter option, but we'll see how the UBEC. But I just plug that straight into the receiver, it works fine. Then they're not drawing loads of power, these servos. You've not got loads of pressure on the back, so that's all good. It comes with a peg installed on the right hand for a right-hander. And they give you another peg to put on the other side. The slot looks like it's already cut, so you just cut that and glue it in, which is really nice. So you can have one in either side, or I've just left the one because I'm right-handed. The way the pod goes on, it's obviously designed for the new model because it doesn't fit perfectly around here. I think the original one fitted a little bit better. But because it's designed for something else, it fits okay, but it's just sort of, there's a gap around here, but to me it's absolutely fine. It looks really nice. I've got no problems with it whatsoever, and it gives you plenty of room in here to put all your gear in. There's plenty of height in there if I needed to. I'll say if the UBEC's a bit big, I can just stick it into the top here, no problem at all. So it all works really well. Flying, obviously I'm just getting into discus launch gliding, and it's all new to me, but I'm working on a technique and just practicing at the moment, and I've had some nice flights. I haven't been able to fly anywhere where there's any potential of lift or thermals or anything. I've literally only had it out once, and I was conscious that I was only using a small battery as well, but absolutely flies beautifully, causes a bit of interest over the park. And because it's so lightweight and graceful, there's no engine, there's no noise, there's no, it's very difficult to upset someone with this. I've had a few people come up to me already and sort of comment on it, how nice it is, and that looks fun and things like that. And yeah, really good. The other thing is you do exert some energy rather than just standing there flying a plane. When you start throwing this around and doing the proper loops and whatnot, the steps and sort of and spin and throw, it definitely gets you working more than you would obviously just standing in the middle of the field. So a bit of exercise is obviously good, and I'm really enjoying it. I think the next DLG I'll get, because I will get another one, is the Pro version, which is a slightly longer wingspan that has ailerons but no rudder, which would be nice because then I'll be able to set up flaps and things like that on it, which would be a bit more interest as well, a bit more fun. So I'll get that and do a review of that at some point as well. But for now, loving this. You can literally undo 3 screws, take the tailplane off and the wing off, pop it in your car, go anywhere with it, sort of thing. Absolutely great. Other than that, the only thing I would say is I've set it up on the transmitter so that the rudder works on the aileron and the rudder stick, so I can use both, just mix them together. That's something I always do on a 3-channel, so it makes it like you can fly it like a floor channel basically, or I can fly it one-handed, so which is quite good. But I've got no negative points at all. My tailplane was a bit crushed when I got it, but it's okay. It survived. Sorry, the tail fin. This was a little bit crushed, but I've just sort of straightened it gently, and it seems to be absolutely fine. The control system works absolutely fine. It's nothing posh. There's no pull spring or anything like that. It's just simple wire through guides. I was a bit concerned about how much that pitches up there, but it works absolutely fine. And also in a knock, there's enough there to spring the wire and not damage the servo, but actually in flight it's lovely and positive, no issues, as I say, whatsoever. Just when you first fly it, just do a couple of hand launches first, just to get the trim right. I tend to fly these slightly nose down, otherwise you'll get this sort of porpoising effect where you quite often see people with gliders doing this business. That's either a wrong CFG, or they've just got a bit of up elevator, or they're used to flying powered planes and hanging on that elevator a bit. So I tend to fly it with a couple of clicks of down trim, and that seems to work fine with the launch and also in flight as well. That works fine for me. Everything on it I thought was looking straight. All the angles are good. I'm just really impressed for a cheap plane, and I think it's just been reduced annoyingly. I think you can pick this up from Hobbyking for about £66 now. I think it's on offer, and with the upgrades, I think that's brilliant. As long as the one you're getting is the upgraded one, and they're not clearing old stock of the original one. But you just have to check that before you buy it. But even for the full price, great value for money. And now I've got it, I want to do more of it, and I'm definitely going to get the Pro version with the ailerons on it as well. So anyway, this is GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions, with my initial thoughts on the Hobbyking Mini DLG. See you soon. Bye.